Hello and welcome to Ruler 3's video review for Pillars of Eternity, a role-playing game from Obsidian Entertainment for the PC and eventually consoles. So this is one of the many games in my backlog on my PC that I finally got around to playing. I've been playing this game for about 3 weeks, so I've had a lot of time with it. And I'm just going to say right now, if you loved Baldur's Gate, this game is right up your alley. It's very similar, but has a couple differences, obviously. So let me get straight into the review.
Caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf.
So the story for Pillars of Eternity is you create a PC character that you create, but you are what is called a watcher, which is somebody who can see the past lives of people. Because this world, everybody, when you die, you get reborn. It has a reincarnation thing. So watchers are able to see those past lives. Your character becomes awakened due to a certain event and goes on a quest to solve a curse called the Legacy, which is basically turning the people of Drywood, when they have babies, they're what are called hollowborn, which means they have no soul when they're born. It's up to you and your group to solve this problem. Story-wise, it's great. There's a lot of good lore, a lot of interesting backstory, and a lot of cool things happen. Like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but a lot of cool things happen. All the player character, you can't. The cool thing about the story for the player character is you really can craft it as you go. You start out when you create your character, you choose kind of their basic background and history, where they're from, and all that. But as you go, you can kind of meld him into why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? And it's very malleable on how your story will go. You can be a jerk, you can be nice, you can be kind of a combination of both. You can be greedy, you can do whatever you want. It's really role player heavy, very similar to Baldur's Gate, and it's really, really cool because of that. The side characters have interesting side stories and kind of reasons why they are with you. Let's see. Other than that, yeah, like I said, the story's great. I like it.
Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body.
Okay, gameplay. I'm going to try to get through this quickly and be as descriptive and stuff as I can, because this game is very complicated to some extent. Okay, so first off, character creation. You're going to choose a character. You're going to choose one of, I believe, 7 races. Each race has different benefits that they get for being it, as well as specific text dialogue for certain events. You then choose what class you're going to be, I believe. I forget what order, but I'm just going to go in what I can remember. What class? There's about 12 classes. Let me think. 11 classes. They're your usual D&D, fighter, paladin, ranger, wizard, druid, monk, priest, rogue, chanter, cipher. Each class has different abilities, different sets of things they can do, but they can equip really any gear they want. It really just affects starting stats for the most part. That's the other thing your race depends is what stats you have. Background. This will give you certain, once again, another buff to, I believe, a stat. And depending on what race, depends on kind of background you can do. Or not background, where you're from. I forget the regions that they are, but once again, the different ones give you different items, starting items, as well as different starting stats. Character background. Are you a wanderer? Are you a trader? Are you, mercenary? Stuff like that. Gives you bonuses to different things like lore checks, athletics checks, and stuff like that. You then finalize what your character looks like, portrait, and that's character creation in that cell. All of that is very important because it's going to affect what dialogue choices you have, what checks you're going to be able to do, like a athletic check or a dex check or stuff like that. So it becomes very important for that. And different dialogue choices are going to happen throughout the game, like I said, depending on background, race, area you're from. It's really, really cool how they set that up. It opens up a whole ton of replayability with creating different characters. Okay, combat. Combat is real-time combat. So you're going to attack people, and then you're going to select abilities and cooldowns and stuff like that. It's very tactical, though. If you play Baldur's Gate, it's about the same difficulty. It's very, you have to move people here to flank. If you move away from someone, they get attacks of opportunity. If you play Dragon Age, it's very similar, just a little, but more complicated in what you can and can't do. And I'm talking about Origins, not 2 or Inquisition. It's closer to 1. Combat. Let's see. True to D&D kind of style, depending on your class, depends on how many times you can use certain moves. Some moves you can only use once per rest, or so many spells per rest. Others are per encounter, and you can just spam those. I find those be usually my first line of attack, is use those first, and then go into the 1 per encounter, or 1 per rest, or 1 per rest, or however many per rest. It's really fun. It's really tactical. You can either speed up combat if you want things going fast, if you know you're going to win. Or what I do is I slow down combat to the half-speed option so I can micromanage where everybody's going, as well as having more time to activate abilities, and gives me more time to kind of strategize and prep while in combat. You can also pause if you really need to really think. I love the option of double time, normal, and half, because I use normal for kind of exploring a new area, double for getting around quicker, and half for combat, for a little bit heavier combat. That's really fun. It's really intense, and like I say, if you've played D&D, it's very similar in terms of, or Baldur's Gate, it's very similar to how that combat works. It's hard to describe other than it's fun, and it's very tactical. Other than that, you get equipment. You can equip, like I said, whatever, depending on feats and skills you get later on in the game, depending on your accuracy and stuff. Debuffs, buffs, all that stuff's in there. The other cool thing is reputation. Depending on actions you do towards people, raises your reputation with certain factions or lowers it with certain factions. And once again, this will help with dialogue choices and other things, side quests that may or may not open. And it's really, really cool. Non-character, or the NPCs that you travel with have the same thing, with their own reputation with them. Let's see. Fortress. Eventually, you get your own stronghold. This place is your base, and you can build stuff. Have people come visit, pay taxes. Create your own village. Fight off bandits. Go into a labyrinth underneath your stronghold and fight super enemies. Yep, it's fun. Oh, back to combat real quick. You have 2 stats. You have endurance and health. Endurance will just go down as you fight. That's the first thing that you go down. You hit 0, your guy's unconscious. If you hit 0 health, your guy is either crippled or manged or whatever, or dies. You'll always run out of endurance before health, and usually health goes down a lot slower than your endurance. It's a nice little system. I really like it. Let's see. You can sneak around with scout mode to try to get an idea of what's going there. I would highly suggest having a rogue. Early game is very difficult. I highly suggest buying companions. You can go to an inn and purchase companions, which you do the same opening create a character thing, so you can choose whatever you want. It's really nice. Although they do not count for your dialogue, it's only your NPC. Let's see, bestiary, you get open, that tells you how to kill them easier. Let's see, what else? And that's pretty much it. It's long, it's fun, it's awesome. The only real criticism I have is the difficulty. If you're not used to a Baldur's Gate difficulty game, play the game on easy. If you're used to Baldur's Gate, play it on normal. If you're really good at Baldur's Gate, then obviously you can play the harder difficulties. Or you can do insane mode, which is once you die, you're dead. You have to start over. That's really my only criticism. It's just this game is not for everybody just because of the difficulty. Otherwise, if you're an art, you love role-playing games, this is one of the best ever.
Much. There is a plague among us here in Gilded Vale. The legacy is but part of it. The rest is fear, heresy, perversion. Each incident alone is but the flicker of a candle, but together, a blaze that will destroy us.
Pillars of Eternity is another great success story for Kickstarter. It's a great game. Obsidian really took their time and made the game that they wanted to make and what fans wanted them to make. Pillars of Eternity has a high degree of playability, has tons of lore and backstory that you can dig into and just absorb. It's really, immersive in terms of environments and characters and story. I'm giving Pillars of Eternity a buy rating. And that's it for this review. Next review will probably be another review from my backlog, or probably maybe even a retro review. I don't know which it'll be. But something, since I think the first game I'm reviewing that's new won't be until Dawn comes out for the PlayStation 4. So that's it for this review. Thanks for listening, everybody. Remember to go to rule3.com to check out our news postings and all that stuff. Like us on Facebook and Twitter. And if you have time, please check out our Patreon page, Rule of Three's Patreon. If we get some donated money, we can eventually do giveaways every month instead of what we're doing, which is roughly every 3 months. Is I think the plan with the current money we're making, because it's always going to go back into the site, and that's the easiest way to do it at this point is just giveaways. So once again, thanks for listening, everybody. And until next time, always remember to trust in the Rule of Three.